What if, tonight, you looked up at the sky, and the moon was simply gone? No warning, no explosion, no fading light, just emptiness. A familiar presence that has guided life on Earth for billions of years, suddenly erased. At first, it might not feel like a disaster. In fact, for a few hours, nothing dramatic happens. The stars still shine. The sun still rises. Life goes on. But beneath that calm surface, something profound has already begun to unravel. Because the moon is not just a glowing object in the sky. It is a silent architect, shaping Earth in ways most people never realize. And without it, our planet would begin to change immediately. The first noticeable effect would be the tides. Right now, the moon's gravity pulls on Earth's oceans, creating the rhythmic rise and fall of sea levels. Without it, tides wouldn't disappear completely, but they would shrink dramatically. The sun also influences tides, but it's far weaker. What used to be powerful coastal surges would become gentle, almost unnoticeable movements. This might sound harmless, even beneficial. But tidal zones are some of the most biologically rich ecosystems on Earth. Countless species depend on these daily cycles for feeding, breeding, survival. Without strong tides, entire ecosystems would collapse. Fish populations would shift. Coastal food chains would break. Human industries like fishing would feel the impact within weeks. And that's just the beginning. Because the moon does something even more critical. It stabilizes Earth itself. Our planet spins on an axis tilted at about 23.5 degrees. That tilt is the reason we have seasons. But here's the key. The moon acts like a gravitational anchor, preventing that tilt from wildly fluctuating. Without it, Earth's axis would begin to wobble, unpredictably, over thousands or millions of years. The tilt could swing dramatically. Imagine a world where summers become unbearably hot and winters become brutally long and cold. Or worse, where entire regions shift between extremes with no stable climate at all. Deserts could freeze, forests could burn, ice caps could grow, then vanish, then grow again. Civilization depends on stability. And without the moon, that stability starts to slip away. But what about the nights themselves? The moon has always been our natural lantern in the darkness. Without it, nights would become significantly darker. At first, this might seem beautiful. A sky filled with stars, clearer than ever before. But darkness changes behavior. Nocturnal animals that rely on moonlight to hunt would struggle. Prey species that depend on darkness to hide would gain an advantage. The balance of ecosystems would shift. Again, even humans would feel it. For most of history, moonlight shaped travel, culture, and timekeeping. Without it, the rhythm of life subtly changes. But the deeper consequences lie in Earth's rotation. The moon doesn't just orbit us, it slows us down. Its gravitational pull acts like a brake, gradually reducing Earth's spin over billions of years. Without the moon, that braking force disappears. The length of a day wouldn't change overnight, but over millions of years, Earth would spin faster. Days would become shorter. Imagine a future where a full day lasts only 20 hours or less. Weather patterns would intensify. Stronger rotation means stronger winds, more violent storms, more chaotic climate systems. And then, there's the emotional impact. The moon is deeply woven into human culture. It has inspired myths, poetry, calendars, religions. It guided ancient travelers and sparked humanity's first steps into space. Losing it wouldn't just be scientific, it would feel personal. A permanent absence in our sky. A reminder that something fundamental is missing. But could this actually happen? Could the moon just vanish? In reality, No known natural process could make it disappear instantly. Even catastrophic events would leave debris, not emptiness. So this scenario lives firmly in the realm of imagination, but that doesn't make it meaningless, because it reveals something important. The moon is not just a companion, it is a stabilizer, a protector, a hidden force shaping the conditions that allow life to exist. Without it, Earth would still be here, but it would be a very different world, less predictable, less stable, and possibly less habitable over time. So tonight, when you look up at the moon, that quiet glowing sphere hanging in the darkness, remember, it's not just lighting up the night sky, it's holding our world together in ways we're only beginning to understand. And if it ever disappeared, we wouldn't just lose the moon, we'd lose a part of what makes Earth home. If the moon vanished tomorrow, could humanity survive the long-term chaos? Or would this silent disappearance slowly rewrite the fate of life on Earth? Tell us what you think in the comments. And if you want to explore more mind-bending cosmic scenarios, subscribe to Space Knowhow, because the universe is full of what-ifs, and we're just getting started.